Yeah, you know what? I think it's a great campaign. I mean, I think that we've got to do a good job of branding ourselves as Dallas's football program. I mean, that's just what we need to be, and we need to be all of Dallas's football program. North Dallas, South Dallas, East Dallas, West Dallas, and so that's kind of the idea is to recognize the kids that come from all different parts of Dallas and how they contribute to our program. And I think it's meaningful for a kid, whether he's in Pleasant Grove, to drive by and see Rashad's billboard, or Oak Cliff, and see Dimrick's billboard, or South Lake and see TJ's billboard. So I think those are all, when a kid drives to school every day, drives by that billboard and he sees it, he goes, you know what, I can play football at SMU, or I can be a student at SMU, or I can do something with my life. And so I think it's a great branding thing, but I think it's also just good for our community, and I'm excited about it. I think it's a really good program.
For sure. New addition with grad transfer Richard McBride from Auburn. What are you hoping to see out of him this year?
Well, the good thing is he's got some experience. We were really fortunate. We had some guys that got banged up at the linebacker position. We had 4 or 5 guys one day that didn't practice, and I think he was set to go to another school, maybe in the Big 12, and for whatever reason it kind of fell through. And so we had an opportunity, based on some relationships we have with some of our coaches, to get involved with him. And he got here and cleared the physical, and he's got game experience. The thing that we wanted to do when it came to grad transfers is we needed to take guys that had multi-years, and he's got 2 years of eligibility. We didn't want to sacrifice our long-term future for some short-term gains. And so what we did is we decided that that was a position where we needed depth and we needed experience, and we're excited to see what he can do. I like what I've seen so far. He's had 2 days where he's getting himself acclimated, with helmets and then shoulder pads, and then finally I think on either Sunday or Tuesday we'll be able to let him go live and see what he can do. But his film's impressive at Auburn. He played in the SEC championship game and was very productive in that game, and he's been a good player.
Yeah. Coach, after the first couple weeks of practice, what freshmen are you likely to see in game time this year?
I wouldn't be surprised if every one of them played. We're going to just kind of see how camp finishes up. So much of that depends on injuries and what happens with guys. The good thing, in today's college football is you get 4 games to figure it out. And so, I would expect, every single one of them to have a chance to get on the field. I think when you look at the offense, I think all 3, young receivers, I think both the running backs can help us. Linemen are usually late, the last guys to come around, but I think Danielson Ike at some point will have an opportunity potentially. And then when you look at us on defense, I think that Elijah will definitely play the defensive tackle, and then I think a lot of those DBs will have a chance to get on the field as well. So I think it's a good group. I mean, you build your football team with freshmen. You know what I mean? And that's a really good freshman class. Those guys are going to, have a chance to be real successful around here for a long time. And then, the grad transfer thing has allowed us to fill in where we felt like it made sense to fill in, where, we might have a deficit at this position, especially with our junior class or that type of thing. And so that's allowed us to address some deficiencies and to build more depth. And, when you have more depth, it builds more competition, and when you have more competition, then you have improvement from players. And so, it's been a good thing for our program.
What's been the feedback you guys have gotten from Rashad now being on staff for a while? What's been the reaction around town for you guys?
Well, it's been good. I mean, it's been exactly what I thought it would be. Rashad is when the opportunity presented itself, Rashad had been on my radar for a while. As a coach, you kind of keep a list of coaches in case somebody leaves. And, we had a D-line coach left, and we went and hired an offensive skill coach. But, number one, you got to ask yourself, is Randall, could Randall handle all the line? And the answer was yes, for sure. And then I think at that point, then you say, okay, what's going to help our program the most? And I felt like we needed to make inroads in Dallas recruiting. We have some of the best high school football programs in the country, within 10 miles of our campus, and we've got to have a presence recruiting at those schools if we're going to be successful. We got to become the sexy school at some point to stay in Dallas and go to if we're going to get this thing the way we want to get it. And so, I felt like Rashad had the unique relationships and also just the unique abilities within himself to be a guy that could make a difference when it came to recruiting. And he's already done that. And
he said that you guys had a little dinner back in December together. What did you kind of pick up from there, and was that kind of the first little?
Yeah. What happens is, again, as a coach, you talk to enough people, and I'm always asking, who's a young coach that's really impressed you, and just through people his name just kept coming up. And how this business is. I mean, I've worked with a million different guys he's worked with at different places, and so his name just kept coming up and coming up and coming up, and I thought December is kind of that month we weren't playing in a bowl game, and so I needed to try to find. I met with several young guys and sat down with them and just trying to plan for the future in case something happened, and when we had that opportunity, I knew exactly immediately what I wanted to do, and so that's kind of what you have to do. You got to plan ahead, because when these jobs open, especially in July, you got to act fast, and I felt like it was a unique opportunity to be able to go hire a rising star and get it done in a short-term fashion.
Things got a little chippy towards the end of practice there.
Yeah, well, it's good. I mean, I think what happened was, I think the offense really had a good day, and I think the defense responded like they should. They got mad, and they got to take it out and execute a little bit better than they did. But I like to see them playing with fire. I think defensively so far, I think we've had a great camp. I was really impressed with the way that the offense executed today, and I think it put some pressure on us defensively, and we didn't respond probably as well as we could have or should have. And so, I was glad to see, the competitive, juices flowing for sure. But we got to be smart about things. But look, when our guys are competing hard and fighting hard and take it personal, then that's what you want to see.
Is playing with fire something y'all preach, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you want to try to do is you want to play with emotion. I mean, football is an emotional game. One of the things that I think we've tried to do in our program is build our strength and conditioning staff around getting bigger, stronger, faster, but also around teaching the mental part of the game. And I think Kaz and his entire staff really do as good a job as any strength and conditioning group in the country about talking to the guys about handling adversity, about fighting through things, and being able to get past it when bad things happen. I mean, look, during a football game, you're going to run 180, maybe 200 plays when you look at offense, defense, and special teams, and not every one of those are going to be good plays. And so you've got to be able to sit down. If it's a bad play, get over it and get on to the next play. And if it's a good play, you got to be able to do the same thing. You sit down, celebrate it, whatever, but then you got a job to go do when you get on the field again. So, we've made some strides that way. We're still, that's the one thing. I mean, I feel like we've got enough talent here to have a good football team. I think we've got to get it in the right spot. And then I think what we've got to learn to do as a program is handle adversity and deal with situations when they don't go particularly well, and respond and be able to move on from a mental standpoint.
2 weeks of fall camp, what's the biggest overarching takeaway you have from the group?
Well, there's depth. I mean, I think there's more depth. We're a little bit banged up. Every college football team in the country at this point at camp is banged up. I mean, that's just the way it is. We've won 115 snaps live on Wednesday, I think it was, and then or it might have been, it was earlier in the week. Went about 115 snaps then. We went live today about 60 snaps. We'll probably go another 100 on Sunday, and we need to play physical and become physical and be able to get after it and tackle and do all the things that you have to do to have a good team and block but the one thing that I think the biggest takeaway has been just our ability to have a good long practice, to grind through it, because we have depth, we have competition. Guys know that if they miss practice, somebody's moving up the depth chart, and we talk about Wally Pipp all the time, about that situation where he takes a day off and all of a sudden Lou Gehrig's the starter and never relinquishes that position. And so there's we want our guys to understand how important it is to practice and how important it is to compete every day and make sure you're improving, because the guy behind you is. And, and if you're not careful, he's going to pass you up.